Taiwan. Brossard, news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan has spotted 27 Chinese warplanes and 9 warships operating around the country. 10 of the aircraft crossed into Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ. The zone is not Taiwan's airspace, but serves as a buffer for security purposes. The Chinese aircraft included 8 fighter jets, 1 radar plane, and 1 drone. Taiwan's military says it monitored the situation and tasked the Air Force and Navy with responding. While military tensions grow, Taiwan's leading presidential candidate is accusing China of using trade to interfere in the country's elections. Louise Watt reports.
A month before Taiwan elects a new president and legislature, a trade dispute with China. Beijing, which claims Taiwan as its own, now says Taipei has put up trade barriers against more than 2,000 Chinese products. It has not said how it will respond. But the threat of sanctions by Taiwan's largest trade partner has pushed the frontrunner to be Taiwan's next leader to speak out.
不应该在选前1个月刻意公开发布，企图影响选情，这个是公然的介入台湾这场选举。
Lai, who's also Taiwan's vice president, is leading opinion polls in the race to succeed President Tsai Ing-wen. Since Tsai took office in 2016, relations with China have suffered. Tsai's government and the ruling Democratic Progressive Party have repeatedly accused Beijing of trying to interfere in January's vote. They say China is using military pressure, disinformation, and trade sanctions to sway voters to the opposition. Beijing says its conclusions are objective and fair, but Taiwan says China should take any dispute to the World Trade Organization.
我方随时准备好跟对方在 WTO 的平台上来进行讨论所有的贸易争端，会随时跟我们的产业来讨论，用我们各种的政策工具来协助业者。
China is always a key issue for voters in Taiwan's national elections, whether parties want to get closer or not to Taiwan's largest neighbour. Campaigning here in recent weeks has focused more on domestic concerns like affordable housing and real wages. Some see China's trade ruling as a sign that Beijing wants issues it can dictate to be at the front of voters' minds. Karma Xu and Louise Watt in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
The U.S. has approved a $300 million equipment sale to help boost Taiwan's military. Once it passes Congress, the money will go toward maintaining and improving Taiwan's battle communications network. It marks the Biden administration's 12th arms sale to Taiwan. Taipei expects it to take effect in a month. The U.S. says it will need to send officials and contract representatives to Taiwan to provide support as part of the sale. The United States and South Korea say they'll work together more closely to deter a nuclear strike by North Korea. Korea's Yonhap news agency says Washington and Seoul will decide next year how to share more of North Korea's nuclear secrets and what to do in case of an attack. They'll also practice nuclear operations during upcoming drills. North Korea has developed and tested ballistic missiles capable of reaching South Korea, Japan, and the continental U.S. Hundreds are marching through Tel Aviv, demanding a deal to release Israeli civilians held by the Palestinian militant group Hamas. It comes after Israeli troops killed 3 hostages in a raid on the Gaza Strip. Israel's military says the soldiers mistook the hostages as a threat and shot them during heavy fighting. It says it's now reviewing what went wrong. Israel says Hamas is still holding over 100 Israelis captive in Gaza. Gaza's health ministry says almost 19,000 Palestinians have been killed since the war began on October 7th. The UN has called for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire. Back in Taiwan, an expanding mountain of trash continues to plague a county in central Taiwan. Reese Ayers has the story.
A river of garbage bursting out onto the street. This is the overflow from Nanto's Trash Mountain. An almost 10,000-ton waste heap so large that it's beginning to sprout trees. The local sanitation workers can't process the trash fast enough, so the pile continues to grow.
从去年12月份暂置到现在8-9千吨当中，只有处理了2-3千吨出去，到现在还堆置在这边。
Every day, 50 tons of garbage are added to the trash mountain, a pile so famous that one couple took their wedding photos with it back in October. They said they wanted to raise awareness of the issue. Local officials in Nantou, the only landlocked county in Taiwan, say a lack of cooperation is part of the problem.
各县市现在看起来是各自为政啊，各自的一个焚化炉都各自管理各自的部分啊，要协助外乡镇的或者是外县市的情况，并不是很积极。
Originally planned to be a temporary dumping ground, Trash Mountain has become an unwelcome fixture in Puli Township, one that has aroused comments from local politicians suggesting solutions to the issue, ahead of January's presidential and legislative elections.
就是把目前的垃圾可以加速外运，那不能外运的要打包，这打包只是暂时的处理。第二个，要积极的来推动垃圾变黄金的过程。
与其耗费这么多的经费去做打包，还不如赶快想办法来共同解决垃圾的一个去化。我想这是比较重要的。
Nantou County has no garbage dumps, so local authorities have turned to neighbouring counties for help processing their trash, only to be met mostly with rejection. The Nantou Environmental Protection Bureau is now calling on the central government for help.
焚化厂的整改会影响到量能，所以我们目前还是希望中央积极的协助。
Taiwan's Environment Ministry says a new incinerator in the country's north could help relieve Nantou's trash problem, but it won't be ready until the end of next year. Before then, Trash Mountain is set to keep expanding until a more immediate solution is found. Leon Lien and Rees for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan has welcomed its 6 millionth tourist from overseas, reaching this year's visitor goal with just 2 weeks to spare. The Singaporean family who helped Taiwan hit the milestone were handed gifts by the Tourism Bureau. Taiwan's travel industry has suffered since China banned tour groups from visiting Taiwan in 2020. The government in Taipei hopes cross-strait tourism can restart next year, and it has doubled its visitor goal to 12 million people. Taiwanese netizens are going bananas for a strange metal tool made in Japan.
バナナで釘が打てます。
The Japanese company behind the steel banana hammer, which costs around $80 and weighs well over a kilogram, were surprised to see a recent surge of orders from Taiwan. Iron factory Ikeda took to social media to investigate the jump in sales and ask what Taiwanese customers were using the bananas for. Taiwan's stray dog population has surged in the last 15 years, and the growing number of dogs in the wild is taking its toll on the country's wildlife. Leslie Leung has more.
Meet Fridge, a masked palm civet that was adopted by students at National Taiwan University in Taipei. After caring for the animal for a time, they released it on campus. Unfortunately, 1 week later, Fridge was found dead on the school grounds, the victim of a savage attack by stray dogs. Civets remain common in Taiwan, but growing stray dog attacks may be driving up the species' death rate. Stray dogs are also attacking rarer and protected animals like pangolins. This female pangolin lost its tail. That's a big blow to her ability to rear offspring.
小孩子会趴在他们的尾巴上面，可是它完全没有尾巴，它就没有办法带着它的小孩到处走。
The Wildlife Research and Rescue Center, based in central Taiwan, regularly takes in injured pangolins. Researchers say there's been a shift in more recent years in the chief cause of their injuries.
前20年救伤原因的第一名是受夹子，但是近十年来的穿山甲救伤原因第一名是犬攻击。
Taiwan's stray dog population has surged since 2009, reaching close to 160,000 in 2022. In 2017, the country implemented a no-kill policy at animal shelters, something animal rights activists had long campaigned for. Shelters are now packed, and Taiwan is struggling to deal with the rise in strays. With an end to euthanasia, the government has turned to TNR, or trap, neuter, and return programs, to try and control the animals' numbers. But the program has been less successful than hoped.
其实说实话我们台湾现在很多地方都在做 TNR， 但是很多地方做 TNR 是无效的 TNR， 大多数的 TNR 行动其实没有做完整的规划。
For a country that loves animals, the way forward is not an easy one. How does Taiwan go about measuring the life of one critter against another? Should the euthanasia ban be reversed, or are dog attacks something the public must come to terms with? Or is there a third way to restore balance when nature is less than harmonious? Patrick Sun and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
A museum has unveiled Taiwan's first ever complete blue whale skeleton. Pingdong's National Museum of Marine Biology and Aquarium showed off the results of nearly 4 years of restoration work on Friday. The carcass of the juvenile whale was the first of its species to wash ashore in Taiwan in early 2020. Blue whales rarely strand on beaches, and only a few carcasses have ever been recovered for display or research. There are just about 24 skeletons in the world open for public viewing. An award-winning virtual reality show is back in Taipei. It's an international collaboration between Spain, France, and Taiwan. Yujing Huang has more.
Virtual reality, made with dancers' real movements. The show is called the Bali, the Bankali, and won the Best VR Experience at the Venice Film Festival in 2021. Its creator, Spanish choreographer Blanca Lee, brought the experience to Taiwan earlier this year, but it was so popular that the country's creative content agency wanted it to stay, so an upgraded version of the show is now playing in Taipei. For this version, they tweaked the choreography, incorporating elements created by the top Taiwanese tech and design teams. It also takes place in an unconventional space, a science museum.
我们也会持续的跟很多的这个场域方，像科教馆、像平台方 HTC 这样的一个场域的这个合作者，能够让它落地。那也希望说帮助更多的这个内容制造业者，能够看得到商机，不是只有做艺术而已。
将手放下去，是的，稍微的往这边，好。
Up to 10 participants can experience the performance at once, guided by 2 professional dancers, all wearing VR sets. Seeing digital art as vital to the future of the industry, Taiwanese tech giant HTC founded Vive Arts in 2017, focused on offering tech support to experimental art. For this show, they use a type of tracking technology called location-based entertainment. It lets participants share the same real-time interactive experience in a virtual environment.
里面还会有丛林啊，然后有一些密道什么之类的，就是很神秘的感觉。对，这个比较大，很大的规模。
我们能做到这么大的场域，我们讲的场域不是你们现场看到的，更大的可以到比如说500平方米、1000平方米这么大场域，同时连接比如说100台、80台头盔。
欢迎大家，欢迎大家，来，这是我的花园，我是 Jenny， 也是这里的主人。
To help participants immerse themselves in the story, interactive theatrical arrangements based on the virtual scenes are set up at the entrance. Made by a Taiwanese design team, they want to level up participants' sensory experiences.
对于惊喜制造来说，这一次是技术含量最高的，包含 VR， 包含网络串流，还有硬体设备等等，我觉得是非常大的挑战。
With the success of this international collaboration, the organizers hope this business model can bring more opportunities for Taiwan's tech and art scene. Klein Wang, Biqi Zhuang, and Yujing Huang for TaiwanPlus.
Thanks for joining us here on What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Before we go, check out these paradise shell ducks strutting around New Zealand's South Island. The species breeds only in the oceanic country. I'm Brossard. Take care and see you next time.